Okay, so we've got this. It's like caged ladder, but really it's not a ladder. It's only a ladder if you double the notes. So here's 6 6. It's kind of a ladder, and we could use this. What we can use this for is, you see how we did a ladder here, and we did 3 4 5 6 7 root 2 3 4 5 6 7. We went up a diatonic scale. But here I've done it in triads, and this is the minor triad, which is just root 3 6, because if you take the major triad, root 3 5, and just raise the fifth to the sixth, you have the first inversion of its relative minor. Okay, if you do it with the fourth and raise the fifth of the fourth to the sixth, you have the second relative minor, its relative minor. Same thing with the fifth. You raise its fifth to its sixth, and you have the third minor. And then once we know how to play the second minor, okay, all we have to do is raise the fifth of the second minor to its sixth, and we get the half diminished. That's how that works. Now I got a neat substitution to show you, and sometimes it doesn't work because I can't get it, but I know it works. I've seen it work more than once, and it's, since I'm talking about it, we might as well look. Sure, you can do the second minor, and you can just add the seventh and get essentially the half diminished seventh chord, 2 minor 7th chord. Okay, but there's the way to get the triad is a little difficult, and we'll get to substitutions. The thing to remember about substitutions is you have to know how to play the substitution before you can use the substitution. So it's most important to learn the major and the minor before we take on the half diminished, unless you just want to play the half diminished by raw numbers, 7 2 4. So right here, 4 7 2. Okay, so if you wanted to do like an arpeggio, it would be 7 2 4 7 2 4 7 2 4. You can play it raw like that, or you can play the second minor, which is 2 4 6, and add the 7. So we could start over here and just do a minor, 2 4 6, and add the 7. Now remember, in the E box, the bottom string shape is the E here, and the bottom string shape defines the cage. So in the E box, the second minor, we're going to go up a pentatonic scale from E to G shape. So it's going to be G minor shape second, so it would be 2 4 6. Can you see the G minor shape here? G minor is always in root, and then it's up 2 4 6 2, like that, but we would add the 7. So you can see you can play it that way, but using another substitution, and we'll get to that, we're going to substitute for that second minor. We're going to substitute our C and 6. And C, I'm just calling this accidental C. It's actually 4 plus or 5 minus. We're just going to call it the C. Okay, so we know exactly what note we're talking about. But before we can do that substitution, we need to know how to play the majors and the minors. That's the most important thing I found, is get good at playing the majors and good at playing the minors. So if we want to start, let's say here we want to start a root arpeggio. Remember our root arpeggios from the color diagram? Root 3 5, root 3 5. So we'll go up 6 strings, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So remember, when we're going 1 string per note, what happens? We're going to repeat the triad twice. So it's da 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 da. That's it. String 1, string 2, string 3, string string 4, string 5, string 6. Alright, so it's starting on this root, it's string 1, string 2, string 3, string 4, and then it warps up so it's straight above it instead of that little interval that between the P4 tuning. So we got P3, a P3 third there. Now that's not shown on the diagrams here, so we want root 2, 3, 4. It's not shown here that we're doing the warp there. This is just a P4 diagram. You have to do the warp yourself when you're playing it. So it's, and then we go back to P4 tuning with the interval from the 3 to the 5. Okay, so you can use this, but I made this diagram not to do the arpeggios that way, but to do them in the string shapes. So if we just look at, in the key of C, we can pretty much get all the string shapes in any of the boxes. So we can just look at them if you want. Here they are, caged, C, A, G, E, D. We don't even have to start messing with this diagram here. The C is going to be 3, 5. Okay. The A shape's just going to be 5. The G shape's just going to be root. We're not going to play the 6 and the 7 in a triad. The E shape's just going to be root. The D shape is just going to be 3. And the C shape again is going to just be 3. So if we want to do triads, we can do the string shapes. Now let's look at this. How about we start on a G string shape because it has root in it. Okay, so now remember, it doesn't make any sense to draw a fret nut at this time or a capo or anything because this is a P4 tuning. This is a P4 tuned diagram. Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, here's what it looks like on the fretboard. It's the same thing, although here we're not here we're looking at pentatonic in this particular diagram. Okay, so that you'll have to bear with me with that. But what it is we're going to play the root, the 3, the 5, the root, the 3, the 5, and the root. Okay, and in this case, instead of root going to 3, root goes straight up. So we're looking at our diagram here. It's going to go root. Here's our G box once again. It's root to 3 to 5, root. Now 3 and these two are going to be warped over for us, you see, in this particular diagram. So we have to do that on our own. But I want you to look at it as string shapes themselves. So we start with the G string shape, we're just going to play the root. We go to the D string shape, we're just going to play the 3. We go to the A string shape, we're just going to play the 5. The E string shape, we're just going to play the root. Now, when we go up to the C string shape again, let's see where that is. We've got to warp it to the right. We're just playing the 3. And then to the G shape again, we're just going to play the root again. So it's... Okay, did we get that G? And that C, we didn't get the 5 on the first time. The C, we're going to play the 3 and the 5 in the major. Sorry, that's my bad. Okay, so let's do it in one of the other shapes. Let's look at the A shape, okay? So the A shape is going to be pentatonically 5, 6, root 2, 3, 5, 6, root. Okay, then we're going to warp up that 2, 3, 5, 6. In just tritonic, we're going to start on the 5, so it's going to be just like that. Okay, I gotta check, make sure how much time we got. We're almost out of time. So it's and then that's it. That's the A shape. Triad, major.